With that being said, welcome to the new show on the block. Touching every topic, guaranteed to make it hot. Run them Phillip River spirals to girly running the rock. Run them lake show dunks to them game winning shots. It's a lock, it's a fact that we only spitting facts. Like who wreck a finna flop and who stay on top of that. Who the hottest of the month and who really spitting trash. Don't stress, just guess. This your favorite podcast. Everything should be dead after.
That's what he said.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending what time it is, wherever you are in the world. Listen to us right now. I am Francisco, your host with the most, aka defective_TDK on the IG, and I'm coolin' with my co-host.
What's up, everybody? It's Daniel, aka Lord Pretty Rocco on that IG.
And you are now tuned in to episode 91 of
With That Being Said.
Alrighty then. In case you haven't noticed, I hope a lot of you have noticed that last week we didn't drop an episode. I actually got a few text messages saying, "Yo, what happened this week? No episode this week."
Damn,
What's
I didn't get
going on?"
nothing.
You ain't get nothing?
Nah,
Yeah, so it's all my friends that listen to us then.
I guess.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, apologies for last week. It was, you know what, it made me a little sad because it was the first week since we started.
Was it really been?
The first week
Really?
since we started doing this that we missed putting out an episode. The only time. Every other time it was, one of us was out of town. And one of us, either we did a solo episode or we brought a guest on or we figured something out and we were able to put out an episode. So our apologies for missing, but it was a bit of a schedule conflict. And it was also the studio was getting renovated. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I feel it. Yeah.
This was Danny's first time seeing the studio and it's new.
I like it.
And it's new vibe. You feel me?
I feel it.
It is a little bit different now. And the plus side of that is that we're gonna have a lot to talk about today, because we got shit from last week that we didn't talk about that we want to comment on. Before we get into anything though, I wanted to point something out that it happened to me maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, where I really got my level of respect for people who work outdoors and do physical labor like goes up, and the other day I had a reminder because I got home from working my 8-hour shift. And they were doing a little project around the house. And when I got home, it was time to do the concrete portion of it. And I had never done concrete in my life. But I know it's physical labor, and I know it's a grueling process. And, safe to say your boy was sore the next day,
Oh, you were?
And when you're working in that hot-ass sun, you don't want to be standing out there doing that shit. So, once again, it was a reminder to myself. And really, I think everybody should take the time, for people who don't really work a job that requires you to be too physical or something that's too physically draining. Just get out and try something else, just so you can see it from the other person's side. Because the next day I was like, bro, whoever does this for a living has to get up today and do it again.
Yeah.
And I was like, no thanks.
And on a hotter day.
And on a hotter day, exactly.
Yeah.
Or like people who do roofing jobs during the summer. And it's like, bro, you're up there, you know how hot it is, the sun is beaming down right now and you're doing all that shit. Nah, thanks, man, I couldn't be doing that. So I just wanted to get that out the way. Danny, how have you been over these last 2 weeks?
Been good, man. Been good. I want to say happy early Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy Father's Day to everybody who's going about it the right way and deserves it, Because coming from minority communities, there's a lot of people who grow up without dads. So we need positive male role models in our community. So happy Father's Day to everybody. Hopefully you guys get good gifts. Hopefully your kids leave you alone for the day. I know you need a day off from them, dog. I can only imagine. You know what I'm saying? There's a couple birthdays I want to get into real quick. First and foremost, somebody that we don't talk about enough, who I think more than deserves his happy birthday celebration that we have here, is Dirk Nowitzki, man. Dirk Nowitzki, June 19th, born in Wurzburg, Germany. What side of the war was his family on? I don't know, but he joined the NBA, okay? He joined the NBA. And he became an NBA champion. And he was the league's MVP, and I think it was like 06, 07. So happy birthday to him, man. And his championship is a little bit special because he took down the Heatles.
He took down the Heatles single-handedly.
Well, I mean, single-handedly in the sense of like star power. He was the only star on that team, for sure. And that year, he was fucking lights out. Like, I feel like he could not miss. Every time he took a jumper, his shit was going in. But I believe they had Jason Kidd in the second half of his career. They had Sean Marion. had Jason Terry. They had Brandon Bass. They had some guys who could really play, and they did not back down from the Heatles on their star power, and they really took it to him, man. That was like the pinnacle of people saying LeBron wasn't clutch.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that narrative, but you're so right.
Yeah, because he like would totally disappear in the fourth quarter of those finals, and
That was it the pinnacle? Or was it the start? Because that was the first. That was their first year, the Heatles.
yeah, I want to say it was the pinnacle of it because he was already getting that backlash in Cleveland. How he couldn't get the job done, but in Cleveland it was different. He didn't have nobody there.
Nobody, yeah.
Like when I think people like NBA fans get mad at LeBron for leaving, or they blame him for leaving. If you're not from Cleveland, if you're from Cleveland and like you followed his career every year,
You're like,
I get it, bro. They never gave you anybody. Like I wouldn't want to stay here either after spending 7 years here, and it's like, bro, you don't want to waste your career in a city and like never win a ring, and
especially with his talent. It's not he's not like he's any other player.
It wasn't like he was a borderline guy.
Uh-huh.
He was one of the guys who was destined to be up there with the greats. So it's like, bro, I'm just gonna waste my career here. No, I'm gonna go somewhere where they give me talent. I think people should be mad that he left and he joined up with as many stars as he did. If you're mad about that, okay, I get it. But don't be mad that he left. I think most of us would have left. But let's not make this about him. It's about Dirk Nowitzki, dog. Shout out to him. Shout out to his wife who like would send him to games with leftovers on a styrofoam plate wrapped in aluminum foil. And you're like, bro, this boy a millionaire, but he's still taking that home cooked meals to the game, dog, for lunch. You know what I'm saying?
Best.
He's just clocking in for work like everybody else, dog. You feel me? Just doing his thing. So shout out to him. One of the birthdays I want to shout out is Ice Cube, because Ice Cube has been in the news a lot lately, and Ice Cube kind of starts off this 3 big birthdays in a row for West Coast legends. So shout out to Ice Cube. June 15th, 1969, turned 51, man.
Hey man, June's a good month.
For a couple people, you know, there's some birthdays that are really lackluster in that June month.
Oh really?
Man.
Like what?
I mean, just a few people off the top of my head that I could think of. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put any names because I don't want to put bad energy out into the universe. Okay. But there's some guys that dropped the ball in June. That's all I'm gonna say. You know?
Okay, for sure.
But we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
The month is not over.
That's true.
What sign is it?
Well, it's Gemini and
Zodiac
Cancer.
I'm sorry, Cancer as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I forget it goes like
The 21st.
half months, right?
Nah, I don't know how that shit is, but I just know that it's the 21st. The 21st on is Cancer.
I mean, like
season.
I mean, like it's not like the start of 1 month to the end of 1 month. It's like the middle of 1 month to the middle of the next month.
I think
for the zodiac signs,
I don't know,
right?
bro. It depends. I don't know.
Whatever. Nobody cares. Shit's not real anyways. If you believe in that, you're crazy.
And lost like 5 listeners.
Okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine with those 5. Happy birthday to Tupac. Tupac, June 16th, 1971, would have been 49. Obviously, look, we know about the discography. We know about the filmography. But with guys like this, sometimes you want to talk more about what they did outside of that. And it's crazy to think that with everything going on, with the Black Lives Matter movement, with George Floyd, with Breonna Taylor, how his content is just as relatable now as it was back then.
Yeah.
And we're talking at, 25-year difference. You know? So big happy birthday to Tupac. And the very next day, June 17th, 1987, Kendrick Lamar just turned 33.
Hey, goats. Only goats are born in June.
I mean, 3 in a row. I don't know about if you break the streak, there must have been something that happens. Might skips every 2 weeks, depending on how the birthday goes. Are you technically Cancer?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, yeah. See, this is a Gemini thing over here, and you're trying to claim it.
I'm trying to claim June. What you mean?
Oh, okay. I'm just saying. I think that's how it works, but also, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I know a couple Geminis that are lackluster, too. Shout out Ernie. Happy birthday, man. Mr.
Damn. Hey, shout out to Elvin, too.
Oh, his birthday, too, huh?
Birthday was the 5th of June.
Yeah, man. Happy birthday. Somebody that I wanted to talk about is Big Boy from the Real 92.3, man. He's finally getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and I think he's long overdue for one.
That's interesting, just because I feel like Big Boy is so intertwined into LA culture, like, since I can remember.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, it is hip hop culture, but I mean, I feel like it's
Los Angeles.
It's Los Angeles. He's LA.
And honestly, for me, like, if nobody would have told me like he's getting one, and somebody asked me, I would have been like, oh yeah, he probably already has one. I would have thought he would have had one already.
I mean, yeah, and it's the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, yo, like, it's in Hollywood, it's in LA.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy that he hasn't had one until now.
And Big Boy, his story, like him coming from homelessness, from poverty. I think he was either the youngest of 7 children or the second youngest, something like that. But to see his background and things where he came from, and the things that he was able to do and accomplish in his personal life, being a philanthropist, and just every time you hear him talk, he's always positive. He's always happy. He's always in a good mood, and that's something that's always been super inspiring to me. Not to mention, I mean, he's probably one of the most famous radio hosts in the United States, right?
Yeah.
It's only a few that are even like on the same plane as him.
No, definitely. He's one of those that, like, if anybody's in LA, they come talk to Big Boy.
Yeah.
The same way if someone goes to London, they go see Tim Westwood.
Okay. Didn't know that.
You know that?
Didn't know that, but
Do you know that?
I mean, I know who Tim Westwood is, but I didn't think he was huge like that, or at least
He is.
not that I'm aware of.
I
you
mean,
know?
yeah. I mean, you're not in England, so you
Yeah, that's
wouldn't
what I'm
know.
saying.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we're agreeing.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't sound like it.
Oh, I am, buddy.
Okay.
Anytime you want to agree, you come find me,
All right.
and we'll agree about a lot of things.
Oh, we will?
Yeah, we will.
All right.
And I promise you that.
Oh, thank you.
It was also the anniversary of one of my favorite albums, the Born Sinner album from the young GOAT himself. June 18th, 2013, Cole dropped that Born Sinner, dog. And that day, they also dropped Yeezus, and Mac Miller dropped his Watching Movies with the Sounds Off. And I think the next week, like, Wale drops The Curse of the Gifted. It was a great time in music at that point.
I remember.
Like, that summer was pretty fucking
Yeah.
hot. But, yeah, this is one of my favorite J. Cole albums. There's so many to choose from now. The cover was hard as fuck. The music was really good. You had features from Kendrick, from TLC, from Miguel. It was just kind of all over the board.
I think that album was a good mix of, because you know how everyone talks about Cole no features, a mix of features and just Cole himself. I think it was perfectly balanced.
Yeah, so I definitely wanted to take the time to talk about that album. If you haven't listened to it, definitely go back, because that's some of his better content for sure, I feel. But also, at this point, you guys know
He's just a stan.
I mean, it is what it is.
He's
You know
a
what I'm
stan.
saying?
It's cool.
You know what I'm saying? It is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Who am I to say I'm not? Nobody.
Nobody.
Cole has recently been in the headlines for different reasons. I really am not. I'm not aware of the issue, but maybe it's not on me. Maybe I'm not the person to be pointing it out.
Explain to me the issue. Someone that's not a huge Cole fan, but I like Cole.
Yeah, I'm a huge Cole fan. I don't get the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So
Is it because you're biased?
that's the thing that I'm not understanding. Is it because I'm biased? Is it because people are making a bigger thing out of something small?
Maybe.
Is it because you're getting like headlines, like tabloids and media outlets who need something to put out, so they're making it a hot button issue? Or is it because people are being sensitive online and they're saying things? I don't know, and I feel like I might be the wrong person to speak about it. The same way when it comes to talking about issues like Black Lives Matter, and sometimes, like, I understand when people don't say anything as far as like celebrities and stuff, because if you don't have nothing to say, don't say anything. You know, if you're like the companies who are coming out right now and trying to speak and promote it or whatever, it's fine. But also, like, some of you guys are just using it as a platform to promote your companies, right? Do you kind of get where I'm going with this?
Or just save face, just to be like, okay, we don't, like, they don't really believe in it, but let's just not, like how people have been saying, I don't want to be caught on the wrong side of history, so let me just choose my side right now, even though I kind of don't believe in it.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So J. Cole drops a song called Snow on the Bluff. For those of you who don't know, Snow on the Bluff is actually a movie. I've never seen this movie, so I had to look it up myself. And it's basically about a dope dealer in Atlanta who, after a drug deal, he steals somebody's camera and then he documents his own life. But from the synopsis that I read, I couldn't tell if it was like an actual documentary or if it was a movie about somebody making a quote-unquote documentary. So I'm not sure what it was. But typically, so the movie's supposed to be about, you know, the black man's life in the ghetto and him struggling to survive and whatnot. So make of that what you will. That's what he chose to name the song. The first, like, 1/3 of the song, he's referring to No Name. Shout out No Name Gypsy. I think she cut off the Gypsy part out of her name. Super talented hip hop artist, but she was one of the people in the community who was on the forefront of the Black Lives Matter movement. I think maybe him and J. Cole J. Cole and her had a difference of opinion, And I think he says it in the song. He explains his side, and he does so respectfully. He doesn't call her out of her name. He's not even arguing with her. He's just kind of presenting where there might have been a miscommunication. And people were upset. People were making it seem like he was going at her, or the timing of the song was not the right time to drop it. And I really don't understand, because I don't feel like he did anything wrong. But then again, I'm saying I don't know if that's my bias, or I don't know if I'm just not delved into the issue as much as I should be for me not to know. Recently, one of your favorites, Royce, was speaking on the situation. Did you watch the whole video?
No, I didn't. I couldn't get it.
I saw the second part of it, and I thought he probably broke it down the best that anybody could. So and way better than I can right now, the way he articulated it. So if anybody wants to watch it, Royce the 5'9" talks about it on his Instagram.
On his Instagram, yeah.
On his, what is it, IGTV?
IGTV, the one where they post the long videos.
Yeah, and it really is a long video. It's broken down into 2 parts, and I think they're both like 15 minutes long. But if you want to get a better perspective, if you want to gain a different perspective, something more than what I can give you, I would definitely recommend going to watch his video on Instagram, because I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why there's an issue with that, and it's like there's other things at hand right now. There's bigger fish to fry in a sense.
Yeah, I think that I think maybe people just took Cole the wrong. I think people took Cole the wrong way. They kind of, I can't say they expected just blind allegiance, but I guess I feel like as Cole's questioning it, I think people were more like, "Oh, so you're not on our side?"
Or I think people took it as Cole questioning it.
Oh, maybe.
Because when I hear the song, I don't hear Cole questioning it at
all. I think he just wants more clarification, more
from her stance. And I think people kind of took it the wrong way, because one of the scenarios that he kind of presents in the first third of the song, because that's what I'm saying, I keep referring to the first third of the song because the whole thing is not even about her, but the first third of the song, he kind of talks about how, like, oh, she came from like middle to upper class from a 2-parent household, so she was given the opportunity to go to school and gain knowledge, and that's why she has these interesting perspectives and different outlooks on issues. And she's like, now you're looking, and then he says, now you're looking at somebody from the hood who doesn't have those opportunities, but you expect them to have the same mind state as you, or to have the same opinions as you. And how can they when they don't understand the hot button issues like you do? And I think that's where people were like, oh, you're saying that people should be this way and not that way, or you're making excuses, whatever. But to me, it's like, that's just real life. To me, that makes sense.
Honestly, I feel like he was just trying to clarify.
Yeah,
and the fact that I think people, and it is more nowadays. If people try to clarify the situation, it's like, no, what do you mean? You should already know.
Yeah, choose a side.
It's like, wait, hold up. Let me figure out what the facts are first, and then I'm gonna choose a side. I feel like if people don't, if you don't automatically like do this, people, and just you questioning something, it makes them think like, so you're not with us, like what? So you're not agreeing with us? Like, no, I just want to know what I'm getting into before I get into it.
Yeah,
I feel like is what it basically breaks down to.
Yeah, so apologies to anybody if they feel upset about anything I've said, but I'm telling you, I don't understand. I don't feel like I'm the one to be answering this, and I pointed you somewhere where maybe you can get a better clarification. At the end of the day, what else can I do for you? You know, I don't know if I'm being biased. I don't know. I don't think I am, though, because to me it makes sense what was said. You know what I'm saying? But let's get to something a little lighter, a better memory, Danny. I believe it was also the anniversary of one Laker legend, one NBA legend who passed away this year, Kobe Bryant. It was the anniversary of his 5th ring against who, Danny?
The hated Boston Celtics.
That's right. And it was our revenge. It was our revenge ring.
Yeah.
Because they had beat us in 2008.
Yeah.
But on June 17th, 2010, Kobe wins his 5th ring in Game 7 at home, Staples Center, against the Boston Celtics. And it was a special day for you, because I know where you were at, Danny.
Where was I?
You was graduating.
Yep.
The day they won the ring, you were graduating.
Yep.
How does that go? Are you even thinking about graduation? Are you even thinking about the Lakers playing? Because it's like,
it's kind of, I don't know. I vaguely remember people like, what's the score? And, you know, we had and the thing was that for my graduation, they didn't let us take in our phones.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think a lot of, usually if everyone has a phone, has a cell phone.
Yeah.
But I think some people didn't. A lot of people didn't. So kind of everybody was kind of like, oh, what? I honestly don't. Damn, I felt like I repressed this memory because I don't remember it that well. I do remember everyone asking for the score. I remember being in third quarter, still close game. And then I think they won before we graduated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they won before we graduated, and damn, that honestly, I have vivid memories of the Lakers losing in '07 by like 55,000 points.
The '08?
No, it's '07.
Yeah.
Sorry, '07, '08
Yeah.
finals. So just the fact that number one, Kobe slayed the Celtics,
Yeah.
like probably the best Laker of all time, slayed the biggest rival of Lakers of all time. It couldn't get any better. Honestly, that's like the one thing that Kobe needed to put the icing on the cake. I feel like for his Laker career, and he did it.
Yeah, so you're saying you weren't allowed to take your phones because you were graduating, like it was your senior class.
My senior class.
So you're a year older than me. So at my high school, I was in student body government, but when the seniors graduate, like it's their day. So like the juniors of that class, like kind of set up the graduation and, make sure everything goes according to plan. So I remember trying to check the score and see what's going on while the whole commencement ceremony is going on or whatever. And for that night, I think the Lakers winning synced up pretty much with them graduating, throwing up their cap. It was like really close. So I remember, I think it was our dean or our vice principal. He got on the microphone and he calls out like the Lakers score at the end, and like the crowd goes crazy and fireworks start popping off up and down the street or whatever. And I remember I walked home that day and there was fireworks everywhere, and it was fucking crazy to see that shit. But yeah, like you said, like if Kobe never gets that fifth ring, he still has a fantastic NBA career. He still has a fantastic Laker career. But it was the cherry on the top. Like for everything he's done for the Los Angeles Lakers, for the league in general, he needed to go down as like a Laker great. You need to beat the Celtics.
Yeah.
And he had the opportunity in '08, but that team just outplayed us, out-hustled us, out-muscled us. And then here we come back, 2010. You got 3 Hall of Famers on the other side, 3 legitimate Hall of Famers, possibly a 4th in Rondo, depending on how he finishes his career. And then you have Kobe lining up with him with 2 7-footers. And it's like, okay, we're going to play and we're going to find out. And a Lakers-Celtics series, you need a Game 7 every time. You need a Game 7. And as ugly as that game was, as a struggle as it was on the defensive matchup, when it came down to it, it was exciting in the fourth quarter.
Because it was anybody's game.
It's anybody's game. Kobe's not having a great shooting night, but he's rebounding. He's getting assists. Ron Artest hits a 3 that you don't think he's going to get. Pau Gasol's being a bully down low, and it was amazing. It was a team effort. It was definitely a team win. But Kobe got his 5th, man, and it was well-deserved. So, for sure, we had to make sure that we gave the Mamba a celebration of that anniversary, man, because it's a great memory. But I hope to make some great memories in the near future. I believe next summer, to be exact. Correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, but we got one Anthony Joshua fighting a Tyson Fury, I believe.
Yep.
You got the details on that?
From what I know, they already have I think it's a 2-fight deal.
2-fight deal, and it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Right off the back. Usually, boxers have a rematch clause or whatever. I want the championship bout.
Yeah.
But they still have to negotiate that second fight, where it's gonna be, blah blah blah. But I guess this one is right off the bat 2-fight deal. The only thing that is a little, not a little wrinkle, but they still have fights that they're obliged to. Like
Before they get there.
Yes, Tyson Fury still needs to fight Deontay Wilder. I think Anthony Joshua needs to defend his belt, if I remember correctly.
I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I think so. I think he has a mandatory defense, but I can't remember. But so as of now, you can't really overlook whatever Wilder beats Fury. I don't think that's gonna happen, but you never know. It's gonna get interesting, but I'm very, very excited for that fight.
Yeah, because this is for the unification of the heavyweight titles, correct?
Yes.
So winner take all, and that's why you have to have the 2-fight deal. That way you don't have anybody saying it was fluky, it was this, that, and the third. Nope, here we go. We got 2 shots at it, and you get them both, and nobody can tell you nothing. You're the baddest man in the world at that point.
What if it's 1-1?
If it's 1-1, then you get in the third. But guaranteed you get in the second, so nobody could say it was fluky.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? And then if that's the case, you got to run it back. But you're the baddest man in the world. You're unifying the heavyweight titles, and for a long time, for what, 4 or 5 years now, it's been that love triangle of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and now with Deontay Wilder getting his ass handed to him, with Anthony Joshua winning his title back, we're getting down to it now. We're getting down to it. It's starting to become a reality, so it's really fucking exciting. Like, I was an Anthony Joshua guy before Deontay Wilder lost. With Deontay Wilder losing, it made me more of a Fury fan. So now I really don't care who wins. I just want to see a good fight.
You want to see a good fight?
Yeah, I really don't care who wins.
Yeah. So next year we gotta wait a little while longer.
But it's just the fact that they're. We're getting to it. It's exciting news, Definitely. So for sure, I wanted to bring that up. Something that happened last week that we were supposed to talk about was the Chappelle 846 special. He named it 846 because I believe that's how long the police officers were laying on top of George Floyd when they choked him out. I was a little bit confused only because, everybody was calling it a special.
A special, yeah.
And now looking back at it in retrospect, everyone was saying like it was genius. It was this, that, and the third. It was, spectacular. And I'm like, okay, so I went in ready to see it. And once I click on it, it was only 30 minutes long. And he spends all of it talking about social issues. And I don't blame him for it. I do not blame him for it at all. But I just thought it was going to be a comedy special because they called it a special. And I think it was released on Netflix. And like over the last 3-4 years, like Netflix has been known to give everybody and their mom a comedy special deal. So I just assumed it was going to be that. But he even mentions it. He's like, I got some pussy jokes for you guys, but we'll get to that later, He just wanted to speak on those issues. And I don't blame him for it. He used this platform to say what he felt on his heart. And it was very interesting. He articulated himself like only he can, So I recommend anybody to watch it. Just don't watch it thinking you're going to get jokes. You know what I'm saying? You haven't watched it yet, right?
I have not.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. I think you should
no
get
jokes.
around to it. It's not jokes, but it's very interesting, and it makes sense. Mm-hmm. He knows what he's talking about,
Okay, I respect that.
From watching Chappelle, yeah, he has fucking dick jokes and, fart jokes or whatever, but if you're a Chappelle fan, most of his material is deep and thought-provoking. And in a time like this, it's kind of what you need. So it was dope to see.
That's dope.
And also, he did it in a crowd in the middle of the pandemic. So everyone's wearing masks and the crowd is separated by their 6 feet as they should be. And you see the crowd getting their temperature checked on the way when they walk in. And they do it all. And it's an outdoor venue,
Okay,
so
that's cool.
It's really the opposite of a comedy special, honestly. But it's very dope, and I recommend it for anybody. And it's just a friendly reminder to anybody that, just because we're weeks away from what happened, doesn't mean that change is here yet. Just because we're protesting, just because the talks are starting to quiet down, it doesn't mean anything's happened yet. Everything's still going on, and change doesn't happen overnight. And that's what I want to say about that. The NBA is coming back, Danny. We didn't talk about it, did we?
Nah.
I feel like we talked about it like between us, but I don't remember if we talked about it on the actual show. But the NBA is coming back, and the thing that I'm most excited for is how you're gonna see these teams and these players and how they've either slacked off or how they put in that work. And you're gonna see who really bounced back and who took those days off, thinking, "Yo, the season's over. Like we're done.
We're good. I'm out."
The biggest change is Jokic, man. Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. He lost so much weight. If I had to guess, it looked like he lost like 30 pounds. If I had to guess, just looking at his body type and his build.
That's a lot.
And he's already one of the most talented big men in the league. But if he drops those pounds, it's going to make him so much quicker. And he was already a matchup nightmare for anybody. But you give him a little more speed, and the Nuggets are scary. The Nuggets are scary if Jokic can play to the level that I think he can with that weight loss. But I'm saying you have guys like that who put in that work, and then for sure you're going to have guys who are slipping.
Slacked off?
Who are slipping. Who did you mention from your beloved Los Angeles Lakers that you've seen out and about the other night?
Oh, Kyle Kuzma. He was at a Tiana Taylor album release party a couple nights ago.
Now, that doesn't mean anything, right? He could just have gone to show support for somebody he knows, right?
Of course, yeah.
But also, you're young. You play for the Lakers. You got money. You're around celebrities. My mind can only imagine the troubles that you can find yourself in.
Besides the fact that they want to make sure everyone's clean and healthy before training camp starts for basketball.
Yes.
And then you just throwing yourself in a group of in a club with a group of people. Obviously, COVID-19 still going around.
Yes, sir.
It's like, all right. So, are you really trying to be ready for the season, or are you trying to turn up? But honestly, I've always gotten that vibe off Kuzma. I feel like I don't think Kuzma's here to hoop.
Yeah, and
it hurts, but like it just, and he's young. I don't know. If I was in that position, maybe I'd be thinking the same thing. Honestly, maybe I'd be in. I'd
yeah,
the same
I'm
thing.
not saying that I would be above it, but
yeah,
but damn, man.
like, are you here to hoop or are you here to turn up?
Yeah, and you can only imagine how that's going to be around the league. It's going to be a domino effect around the league. I'm not saying that he has been slacking off, but I'm saying 100% guaranteed there was some guys slacking off, man. Like, I think the Memphis Grizzlies have been one of the best stories throughout the year, all season long. But I think, like, that team is full of a bunch of young guys who are starting to get some bread, and they probably thought the season was over, and they might have started slacking. They're like, the NBA's not coming back this year. And if they were really like that, and you have the team right behind him who's the Portland Trail Blazers, and you got Damian Lillard and Carmelo who are starving for rings, they're going to take that playoff spot because they stayed ready to go. That's how I feel, at least. So I can see predicaments like that where you're going to see improvements and you're going to see lackluster performances from teams that you don't expect once the season continues. But speaking of the season continuing, there's some guys who are afraid to go and play, and rightfully so. If that's their opinion, if that's how they feel, if they're afraid of coming in contact with people who possibly have COVID-19, that they have every right to feel that way. You know? They're afraid of getting sick. They're afraid of getting other people sick. As much as I want to have the NBA return, if enough people were to come out and say, I don't want to play, I don't feel comfortable playing, and they decided to call it off, I don't think I could be upset with it.
I can. No, definitely can't.
You know? That's their right, bro. You have the right to worry about your well-being and those around you. So that's okay. But somebody who I have a bit of an issue with is your boy.
My boy.
I mean, when I say your boy, you know what I mean. Kyrie Irving. Flat Earth Irving. The reason being, he was talking about that, you know, the players need to band together and they need to make their own league. And I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what he's trying, unless if he's talking about from a money issue, from a money stance of we need to negotiate better for the Players Association. We need to get more guys paid. We need to take care of people after they retire. If that's what he's talking about, okay, fine. I can see that. But that's not what he's talking about.
No, this ain't baseball. Like, everything's good to go. Everything's planned out. The money's good. I don't get it.
From what I've gathered, he said that he didn't want to return to play because of the Black Lives Matter movement that's going on, and he doesn't want it to be a distraction and so on, and which makes sense. I completely understand that. But what does that have to do with you starting your own league?
Nothing at all.
Not only that, but there was somebody, and I forget who it was, but I want to say it was Doc Rivers' son. What's his name?
Austin Rivers.
Austin Rivers. I want to say it was Austin Rivers, and I'm not completely sure, so don't take me 100% on that. But I want to say he came out and said, he's like, I understand if you're Kyrie Irving, you got your deals, you got your shoe line, you got everything. You're taken care of. You're fine. He's like, but for the guys that are sitting towards the end of the bench who are struggling and like they're eating off of these NBA checks, like they want to get back and play already. And don't get me wrong, I understand that an NBA check is a lot of money and it's more than enough for these guys to be surviving, but also understand that when you're living that lifestyle, your expenses are different. And he has family and kids to take care of, and they've become accustomed to living a certain way, and they want to keep that for their kids. So I understand that NBA checks are a lot, but they want to maintain that and keep it going, as we all would, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of see both sides of the guys who want to come back and play and they're ready to go, and the guys who necessarily don't, whether it be for social justice reasons or for health reasons. I think everybody's right in this situation. And if you don't want to go back and play, like, I respect it. I respect it. If Kyrie Irving doesn't come back to the Nets, then it is what it is. If Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley don't run it back for the Lakers, it's going to suck. I would much rather have them on the team because it increases our championship odds, but you have to respect that person's opinion, I think everybody's right in the situation. I wanted to talk about, just because Black Lives Matter movement has been so prevalent, sort of, I don't want to say the start of it, but definitely the guy who started the ruckus on social media back in 2016 is your boy Colin Kaepernick. right? When he started kneeling during the national anthem. And then little by little, we had players joining him. Well, it looks like, everybody was saying Colin Kaepernick, he's been blackballed from the league. Looks like that might be ending pretty soon. It might be coming back. He might be down to run it back for the Chargers. Looks like they're gonna give him a shot to work out. And our head coach Anthony Lynn said, "Bro, you'd be crazy as an NFL team to not give him a shot to work out." And we got 3 quarterbacks already.
But they ain't good ones.
Hey, Danny Loki, you're all right. You're falling asleep on me over here, dog. I need you awake, bro.
My bad. No, I mean, honestly, I think it'd be a great pickup for the Chargers. I think they need somebody. I feel like that would just, and like, I guess we're talking more about just popularity, just because as of late they've been the second fiddle to the Rams.
Says who?
Says the whole city of Los Angeles.
I don't feel like that's true.
Okay, that's fine, but I think they need to start putting butts in seats if those seats are going to be open because of coronavirus. But I feel like it would be a great pickup for the Chargers.
Were you saying for popularity wise?
Popularity wise and system wise, I think he would fit well.
Yeah, system wise, the coach said that he fits in with whatever they're trying to do. We have 3 quarterbacks currently in Tyrod Taylor, who a lot of people are excited about him. I think he's ready to go as our starting quarterback. And then we have Easton Stick and Justin Herbert. One of them being a sophomore in the league, the other one being a rookie. But I don't think either of them are like NFL ready to go. And Kaepernick, I'm not an NFL scout. I don't know what you look for in guys like that. You remember they did the scheduled tryout for him in Atlanta, I believe. I don't know what they were looking for, but from what I saw, he looked good. I mean, he still had an arm. He was still mobile, and that was able to help take the 49ers to a Super Bowl run. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm not mad at it if he joins up. I know your boy Garrett Thomas ain't mad at it. He mentioned me in one of his stories, and he's like, "Bro, all this shit I be talking about the Chargers, but if they sign Kaepernick, he might have to cop the jersey, dog. You feel me?
All of a sudden.
And you know what, Garrett Thomas? You know what, Garrett Thomas? If he gets signed and makes it a season, I'll cop you that Chargers jersey. I'll pay for it for you to wear it, dog. That Kaepernick.
Oh.
Or you don't want a Kaepernick Chargers jersey?
I mean, I'm not a Chargers fan.
That's not what I asked you. You don't want a Kaepernick Chargers jersey?
Nah.
Okay, that's fine. I thought you were gonna say yeah.
Nah.
I was definitely about to be like, you got it.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I do want one.
Yeah. Just for you to resell it, man. Fuck out of here. Let's talk about something that you had in your notes that I had you do some research on because I heard about it, but I did not really look into it. And it's your boy Chris Delia.
Hold up. You can't be saying my boy with these
no
quote unquote allegations.
Well, it's not quote unquote. They're allegations.
They're allegations. I guess several women have accused Chris Delia of I mean, I'm not sure what the term is. I guess just being where they're not rape allegations, but they're not
rape allegations.
They're not. I guess just sexual. I guess they were
sexual advances,
inappropriate sexual advances.
Yes.
2 women claim that they were invited to his room, and then he just had his D out and was trying to have sex with them, and that's kind of a little weird. I guess there was other women coming forward that they were actually underage at the time. They were either 16 or 17 in high school.
Yeah.
And they received Instagram messages from Chris Delia.
Yeah.
I guess telling them to come to the show or let's hang out and do things. And obviously you're crossing the line there.
Right.
But I mean, they are allegations. Am I surprised? Not really, only because I feel like people who are famous like this, I feel like it kind of gets to their head, so they feel like they can do whatever they want. So I feel like Chris Delia, not a bad looking dude.
You feel like he fell into that?
He fell into that, like, okay, I can hit up whatever girl and see if I can fuck her, and not worried about being appropriate or not, just being, I guess, brash, I guess is the term.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Definitely not okay at all. But I guess he came out and apologized. He specifically said himself, and let me read the quote. He said he had never knowingly pursued any underage women, and that all of his relationships have been both legal and consensual. He goes, that being said, I'm really truly sorry. I was a dumb guy who absolutely let myself get caught up in my lifestyle.
Oh, he said that.
He said that himself.
Okay, for sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't know. To me, like, it seems being a fan of his and following him for, 2-3 years now, like, I don't see him doing anything like that. But, like, the same way that we've talked about other celebrities, we don't know these people. So we assume what these people are like. And we don't know what they're like in real life. But knowing the way he kind of jokes around, I feel like this would be one of the things where he would brush it off and be like, I'm a comedian. It's just comedy. You know? Saying it's just a joke.
Uh-huh.
But it's like, bro, there's a certain line where it's like, it's a joke to you and it's not a joke to somebody else.
Uh-huh.
Especially if these girls are underage. But, I mean, he said he didn't know that. We've heard about it where, like, these underage girls dress themselves up to get into clubs and bars, and you never know. They go home with somebody, and that guy never knows how old they really are. He knows they were at a over 21-year-old club or bar, and he went home with her, and then comes out she was 17, and that guy goes to jail. And he never knew anything. And it's like, doesn't matter. The court of law, the court of public opinion does not give a fuck.
Definitely.
If you knew or not.
That internet court does not give a fuck. But I mean, the only thing that is a little questionable is that he was making these advances on social media, on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I guess from what the girls say, it was clear that they were still in high school. There's pictures of them like at like senior events or things like that.
That is weird.
So it's like, okay, if you didn't know, but you're obviously messaging somebody on Instagram and all their pictures are their high school events, you kind of be like, wait a minute, hold up.
Yeah.
Again, is it true or not? I don't know. Supposedly there are screenshots of him, of some messages. I haven't seen them. So again, I don't know. I don't want to pick sides. Because if he did do this, it's not a good look, Chris Delia. And then on the opposite side, if these girls are just doing this just for clout, obviously not good either.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we don't know if it really happened, and I don't want to assume that he's not capable of that, because at the end of the day,
we don't know.
People are people.
Yeah.
People are disgusting human beings,
Yeah.
some of us. So
you should see Francisco's room right now.
Wow. Anyway, so Eminem recently got into listing some of his favorite rappers of all time, and I wanted to go ahead and just talk about some of these guys real quick, because when one of the GOATs starts to list GOATs, it gets mad interesting, you know?
It's very, very interesting.
And you have to understand that rap is like the league in the sense that, like, the game has changed from the 80s to the 90s to now. Like, the game has changed. So some of these guys, they definitely could have played in the 80s and 90s, and they could have played today. And some of these guys is like, nah, you're lucky you came up in that era, because you would not survive in today's. One of the guys I want to start off with is LL Cool J. Could he have transcended?
I don't think so.
I think maybe.
I don't know.
I think maybe. He's on my 50-50. Is he an every era guy? 50-50. But him for his era, good for him, man. Rakim, every era guy.
Yeah, respect.
Every era guy for sure. He listed Tupac. Let's not even bother. We know what it is. Listed Biggie. Let's not even bother. We know what it is. Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap. For sure. You guys are lucky you were in that era, man.
Big Daddy Kane, I don't know. I feel like
Big Daddy Kane's cool.
He's cool. But I mean, when I say cool, I mean he's cool. He's cool. I like him.
I like Big Daddy Kane too.
Uh-huh.
Could he have survived now? Nah. I'm telling you, nah. He's
I
just.
don't know.
You know what? Listen to Young Black and Gifted by him. It's probably my favorite song of his. But if you listen to his rhyme pattern and scheme, you'll be like, oh yeah, this is definitely 80s shit, and like shit. You're lucky you were here, dog. It's just because, like, you're not, and I'm not saying that the mumble shit is better than that shit. Well, okay, I guess let's explain what I mean by could you have survived in every era. I mean, could you have survived being a top tier artist in every era? That's what I mean, because these guys in their generations were top tier artists. So I'm putting them up against Coles and Kendricks of this era and Drakes of this era. Could you have survived with them, or would you be a Little Pump, Little Xan guy?
Interesting.
That makes
more sense.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Survive, yeah, they would have probably they could have hung with the mumble rappers for sure. But I'm saying, could you sell records with these guys, maintain popularity with these guys, and have an impact culturally with these guys in this era? I don't think so. Who else do we have here? Andre 3000. Let's not even talk about it. Of course, he says Dot. He says Cole. Says Wheezy, Jay-Z. Somebody who doesn't get enough respect. Your boy Redman. Your boy
He
Redman.
did mention Redman.
But he's always mentioned Redman. That's what I like about Eminem. Every time he gets the chance to talk about it, he mentions Redman. So dope to him, man. He understands what Redman is and how crazy his ability is. And you know what? Redman is still putting out music. And if you give it a chance and listen to it, it's good.
It's still solid.
It's just that a lot of people don't care because they're like, who? Redman who?
Yeah, like what? That song with Christina Aguilera?
Yeah, the guy who was with Method Man from Wu-Tang. That's kind of how they know Redman. But if
from
you
that
listen
MTV
to it,
show, Meth and Red?
Meth and Red from fucking probably the most famous Cribs episode on MTV.
Yo, fire Cribs episode.
Fire Cribs episode. But for sure, I respect Eminem for every chance he gets. He fucking mentions him, dog. That was pretty much the list, along with King Crooked and your boy Royce.
Oh, he put them both in there?
He put them both in there.
Uh-huh.
He didn't mention
Joel,
and some people were butthurt about that. But Joel was not butthurt about that. So, I mean, leave that shit alone, guys.
Yeah, I think he did come out and say, and Joel's a skilled rapper himself. He's got nothing to worry about.
Joel was in a rap group with both Crooked and Royce, and that says a lot.
Yeah.
If they're allowing you to be in the rap group, that says a lot.
You good. You good.
You're good, dog. Trust me. This stamp of approval is not much. You know what I'm saying? Or to not get it is not much. Because think of who else he left out of there, and it's not like you're in a league with some of those bottom feeders, dog.
Bottom feeders.
I mean, it's true though. You know what I'm saying? Look, man. Recently, there was along with a couple of the hangings in California, there was also a murder of a 18-year-old Hispanic Andres Guardado. What, like 3 nights ago?
Yeah.
Look, man, 18 years old. He's a security guard. He was working 2 jobs and going to school just to pay for his school, trying to get his family out of the poverty that they were in, and he was murdered by the sheriff's department. And that's really what I mean when I say, you guys, just because you stop hearing about the protests or just because people aren't posting black squares on Instagram, it doesn't mean anything's over. It doesn't mean shit has changed. Like, we need to continue doing the things we're doing, voicing our opinions, protesting, signing petitions, donating money, because change has not happened quite yet, and it's not going to happen overnight. So I just want you guys to stay with that. Understand that it's not only happening to black people, it's happening to brown people. I'm sure it's happening to Asian people. It's happening to everybody within the United States that is not predominantly white. So just understand that it's not one person's fight, it's all of our fight, and we all have to be in this together. Daniel?
I think you said it beautifully, man. This just goes out to all to the people. We talked about this. I would say last episode. It was last episode when you said that somebody at the protest was like, "Oh, I know you guys are getting a lot of flack for."
The Latinos for Black Lives Matter.
For Black Lives Matter, and it's like I don't. It involves us too.
Yeah,
it does because if like, to me, how I look at the totem pole, or if there is a totem pole, it's like, okay, there's black people and then there's the Hispanics.
Yeah,
and like so they're. When they're oppressing black people, they're oppressing Hispanics too. To me, it's we're in the same boat together.
Yeah,
like they're getting shot, we're getting shot.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's our fight together.
Yeah.
And this is a prime example of exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, for sure. And even when it comes to fuck ICE for putting our kids in cages, fuck them when you hear the stories about, you know, kids being sexually harassed when they're in those cages. You know, people be like, oh, but where were they when we had our protest, when he had ours? It's like, bro, I don't want to hear shit if you weren't at the protest, first of all. Second of all, let's deal with these issues one at a time and let's get everything done together. So it's like, just understand that when we have protests, if y'all are having protests, why don't you start one? Why don't you try to organize one and you spread the word and bet people will show up? Like, but you go ahead and do it instead of being like, well, they ain't doing nothing for us, so I ain't doing nothing for them, dog. It takes a big person to take that first step, and it's a lot of healing that needs to go on in the world right now, and it starts with one person embracing the next, and little by little we're gonna get there if you're willing to. And that's all I gotta say about that. So we'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.